Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into Street Tree Revival, an urban wood recycling program for West Coast arborists. Come on inside and tour the urban forest from the inside out. So we trim trees for about 330 different cities throughout California and Arizona. We have 1,100 employees that are doing tree work for cities. We're planting trees. We have a nursery down the street. We plant about 1,700 trees a month out of that nursery. But a lot of dead and dying diseased trees throughout California as well. Instead of making firewood or mulch, we realized that to do the right thing, we have to recycle this wood and take good care of it so that we can get it into the hands of the different people, out there in the world. Trees don't only give us oxygen and fruit, they give us jobs too. Let's take our bioresource and turn it into, something that's gonna last longer than maybe the tree lived its, in the first place. Pretty cool. Behind me, we have Sequoia sempervirens, one of two of California's state trees. You got Sequoia gigantea and Sequoia sempervirens. Coastal redwood, the tallest tree in the world. Wow. Now, John, is this from Northern California? Nope. This one right here is from the city of Orange, which is pretty, funny. You don't think, but we have redwoods commercially planted all over California. And when the drought happened, a lot of the cities switched to non-potable water, and these redwoods are sensitive to some of the salts in there. So not only from the drought, but also because the non-potable water, whole parks, they lost all their redwoods, like Ganesha Park in Pomona. Let's keep on going down the line here. You got the California native, and then you got something that's imported. Not the wood, but the tree. This is the national tree of Pakistan, called Cedrus deodara, also known as deodar cedar. Some people, you guys might know the word deo, means God. In the Hindu religion, deodar means God-like figure. So this is the national tree of Pakistan, brought to the United States in 1860 as a seed by Harvard. Now it's a commonly planted tree all over the United States. I'm out of water here because it's a classic, don't worry, all a part of the show. And the smell is quite lovely. It's like a cedar cabinet, but almost got a little bit more pickle in it. I think it's got a little pickly vibe to it. Right here we have incense cedar, which is native to California. This is a class, you might be in the classroom chewing on one of these right now. You might have the taste of the eraser in your mouth. Number 2, Ticonderoga, right there, pretty cool. We got some more redwood here, more incense cedar here. This one's kind of special. Taylor Guitars is partnered with us, and they started sourcing wood from us for their guitar line. This is Tasmanian blackwood, which is native to Tasmania in Australia. It's a relative of koa. I don't know if anyone knows the koa woods out there. Acacia koa is from Hawaii. This one is Acacia melanoxylon. It's older, more mature, more robust cousin. Just kidding, but anyway, very beautiful wood, and was introduced in California in 1854, a couple years after the gold rush, when Australian nurserymen came to San Francisco. So these are all cut-offs of guitar parts. So we use the best parts, the quarter and rift sections for the guitars, and all the other pieces we make available to the public in our wonderful showroom here in Anaheim. We've got a canoe made out of sycamore, chamois ash, redwood, and cedar. So here, if you take a look at the end here, you can see the beautiful medullary rays in this quarter sawn sycamore, native to California's riparian zones. I call it a local exotic. Ooh. The gunrail here is made out of chamois ash, which is native to Mexico, brought to Riverside in 1930 by a dude named Archie Schammel, and they named the tree locally after him. So non-native, but California used to be Mexico, so it's still a native. We've got some dimension. We're doing a little bit of work here right now. We've got our dimensional lumber over here. I've got most of our lumber, we try to quarter saw the lumber. I'm sure everyone's familiar with what quarter sawn lumber is. If not, it means the rings of the tree are going straight up and down in relationship to the board, and you get a much more stable piece of wood when you do that. we're battling, you know, nails, all sorts of funny things about street trees, right? Trees in a forest grow nice and straight because they're competing for light. Trees in your hood can grow out like this, you know, and be free and capture the light in all directions, and it doesn't give you the best lumber. So we are trying to quarter saw all our dimensional that gives you the best product, so you get these long straight lines. We've got quarter sawn redwood, quarter sawn ironbark eucalyptus, a couple random walnut boards in here. Quarter sawn sycamore, you can see that pattern right there. Ooh la la. American sweet gum. You get this fusarium, which is like a root rot that kind of adds to the spalting in the wood. So we're losing a lot of these throughout California. The cool thing is they got this, they're dying from fusarium, but the fusarium kind of makes the wood look more interesting on the inside. So, you know, my heartstrings are torn. We've got quarter sawn elm here. I love the elm. It's like everybody wants walnut, but walnut's more expensive and hard to come by. But this is like the new walnut. Nobody knows that much about the elm. So English elm out of the Sacramento area. We're losing a lot of them to Dutch elm disease. They said 20,000 elms have come out of Sacramento area in the last 20 years. And not all of them were recycled, but going forward, we're trying to capture more. Over here, we've got a big router sled. Put this down. This is called the Wood Whiz. It's an Australian machine. It's got a 6-inch fly cutter on it. So when the wood dries, you know, it takes 1 inch per year to dry wood. So we're drying these big 3-inch thick slabs, and it takes 3 years to dry them. As it dries, the wood cells shrink and twist. So we cut it and we put a new surface on it. So this has a 6-inch fly cutter with carbide blades, and it's like a big manual CNC machine. And you walk it back and forth, and it puts a fine cut on it.
That's very interesting because we just talked about slab flattening
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Oh, cool. We make this service available to anybody. So if you have your own wood that's warped and you want to bring it in, we offer the service, make it available to anyone. $150 an hour. Typically, we can remove a lot of wood in an hour. So we'll prorate that. We also do epoxy. Everybody's in. A lot of people are doing the big river tables.
Right.
So we will do that for anybody as well. And we have a walk over here. I'll show you some more. We got a scrap bin that's out of control right now. It's made out of finely figured quarter sawn sycamore and red gum eucalyptus, the fanciest scrap bin this side of the Mississippi. We got all kinds of good pieces in here. This is ficus, redwood, sycamore. Look at that sycamore. Hubba, hubba. You know, $5 a piece, $10 a piece. Come in here and make it disappear, make a good deal on the whole bin. We got an exciting piece of equipment over here called a vacuum kiln. As we were talking about earlier, it takes a long time to dry wood, you know, 1 inch per year. Inside this chamber, we pull the air out of the chamber, which lowers the boiling point of water. So we can boil the water that's inside the wood at a low temperature, which keeps the, you know, the higher temperature, the more stress the wood goes through and the weaker it is. So we get to dry the wood in a really easy environment. And instead of 3 years, it takes about 2 weeks. And we can collect all the water that comes out of it. Interesting thing about sycamore, sycamore is native to California's riparian zones, and it's because it needs a lot of water and it has the ability to absorb a ton of water. Fresh sycamore is 200% water by weight, which is crazy. That means the water in the wood weighs twice as much as the wood itself. So when we load up the kiln full of sycamore, oh my gosh, it's heavy. Everybody's exhausted and sweating. And when you unload it, it's like the boards are floating away. They're so light. So we can fit about 3,000 board feet of lumber inside this vacuum kiln.
Yeah.
And on the high end, we've had 665 gallons of water come out of 3,000 board feet.
Wow.
Dang, pretty wild. Here we're packing up some goodies to go to Fender Guitars in Corona. They're doing an urban wood project for this year, so all the master builders are using urban wood from their local environment to try to make some cool guitars. And the urban wood's going to be the theme of the Master Build series. Don't tell anyone yet. I don't know if I was supposed to leak it or not. Everything at our shop here is kiln dried already or being kiln dried. We've got mantle material over here if anybody needs like really thick stock for their log cabin or building a log cabin. Or I'm just kidding, you know, but nobody really wants an 8-inch thick mantle, but I could dream. We've got more iron bark eucalyptus lumber here. This is a valley oak from Woodland, California. That's 262 years old. So these are all quarter sawn, which is pretty cool. And we've got a silver maple underneath that. Really tight growth rings. You can't really see them right now, but kind of special. So our main company is called West Coast Arborists, and this is our headquarters where all the magic happens, you know, internally. So we've got our small engine mechanics over here. We've got our crane. So we're kind of tucked in our little retail shop into like the main headquarters, but I've got more wood hidden around all the corners. So come on here. I've got quarter sawn elm. This is a quarter sawn coast live oak, quarter sawn redwood up there. Some big giant monster elm slabs. At the end of the day, we play a nice game of Jenga, you know, just to see how high we can get. These are all offcuts of the Taylor Guitars project, so if anybody needs any random short sections of trademarked urban ash, that was in Rolling Stone magazine. Woo! And more stuff. We got stuff hidden around all these corners. Tons of wood. Just waiting. I've got a little thin stock over here if anybody likes to do thin material. You know, we got more of that quarter sawn sycamore. Doesn't get any cooler than that.
I like that.
Well, that completes our tour here at Street Tree Revival. I hope you guys get a chance to come by and see us. Follow us on Instagram, Street Tree Revival, streettreerevival.com, and stay dusty.
Thank you very much.
Yeah!